What's going on, guys? PC here, and welcome to another episode of I'm Playing. Today I'm playing a brand new Dreamcast Homebrew game called SSR, which is actually not the final name for the game, because it hasn't even been released yet. Once the game is released, it will have a different final name, but the game is by a developer named Fuseki Games, who you may know as the same developer behind Primitive Nightmare, which I've actually done a couple different videos on. It's sort of a spaceship shooter slash survival game. And the goal of the game is to basically survive as long as possible, survive as many waves as possible, and get a high score. Now, the actual goal of this game is pretty much exactly the same. It's to survive as many waves as possible. So waves are basically the game's equivalent of levels. So the game is not so much a spaceship shooter like Primitive Nightmare is. It's based in space, but doesn't really have that much emphasis on shooting. Even though you can shoot enemies, it's not really something you do very often. It's more just to avoid enemies. So you want to avoid enemies, avoid obstacles, and accomplish your goal. Now let's just jump into this. I'll kind of explain it as we go along. So the actual goal of the game is to collect something called a matter canister, which is being pointed to by this arrow that's right next to my ship here. So you want to go to the matter canister, grab it, and bring it to the disposal ship. Now, why are you doing this? Well, the enemies in the game, which you can see there in red, are called Seekers, and they're called Seekers because they seek the matter canisters in order to build their mothership. Now, you don't want that to happen, so your goal is to collect these matter canisters before they do and dispose of them. Now you can see in the upper right corner of the screen something called to go, and that is the amount of matter canisters that the enemies need to build their mothership. So obviously you want to keep an eye on this and make sure that that never gets down to 0. Because once the mothership is built, the mothership will come after you and try and kill you, which is never a good thing. It will try and continuously ram into you until you are dead. So yeah, not such a good thing. So that's basically the goal of the game. It's very simple, but it's actually very fun and very addicting. You keep wanting to come back and try again, try and get farther than you did before. The game will continuously cycle through waves forever, as far as I know. I don't think there's a final wave or anything like that. The goal is to survive to as high a wave as you can. So I'm doing pretty decently here. I'm on wave 5. So far I've made it up to about wave 20, I believe is the farthest I've made it so far. Now you might notice these little red things that I'm collecting here. Those are energy pods. Now your life bar in the game is the energy, which you see up at the top center of the screen there. This will continually go down as you're accelerating. Once you stop accelerating, it'll stop going down. This will also go down if you encounter an obstacle, such as this laser beam thing here. So if you hit that, it will decrease your energy. There are also other obstacles in the game to avoid, such as wormholes and comets. Anytime you hit any of these things, they will decrease your energy. So you always want to keep an eye on your energy and make sure it's not getting too low. Anytime you see an energy pod, you definitely want to collect those. Even if it means you might miss one of the matter canisters, it's worth grabbing all of the energy pods that you see because you want to keep that energy up. Because as soon as your energy gets down to 0, it is game over. There are no lives in this game. As soon as you die, that is it. It is game over. Your score is recorded, and that's it. So yeah, energy pods are definitely very important in this game. You want to collect every one that you see. So like I said, you do have a weapon in the game. It is called the concussion wave, which, as you can see there, kind of looks like a Wi-Fi signal. It actually travels very slowly, which is to your advantage because you can actually travel in one direction and just keep shooting it every time you can. You can't continually keep shooting the concussion wave. There is a limit to how many times you can shoot it. I'm not sure exactly how many seconds you need to wait before you can shoot another one, usually it's pretty much until it exits the screen, then you can shoot another one. But I usually keep shooting it in one direction, that way if I encounter an enemy, it'll just kill them before I get to them. Which is a good idea because the game is quite fast, so a lot of the time you won't have very much time at all to avoid an enemy once you encounter one. Which is actually not a big deal when you don't have a matter canister, because the enemies actually don't hurt you. You can fly right through them when you don't have a matter canister. They're just trying to get to the matter canister, same as you. They're not trying to kill you or anything like that. So it's almost like they're thieves rather than enemies, at that point anyway. But even when you do have the matter canister, all they do is steal it from you. They don't actually decrease your energy or anything like that. Although I guess you could say you're the thief, because you're the one that's trying to steal the matter canister from them and prevent them from building their mothership, but yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not your typical space shooter, because it doesn't really have any emphasis on shooting the enemies, although you can shoot them. Now, there is one benefit to shooting the enemies, well, other than trying to get them out of the way, and that is to gain points. You get 100 points every time you shoot an enemy. So you may notice I picked up sort of a green crate type thing. That is one of the power-ups in the game. There are several different power-ups. One called Cloak, one called Freeze, and there's another one that gives you a bunch of energy. I'm not sure, I forget what that's called. It's sort of a super power-up. But the Freeze will freeze all of the enemies on the screen. I'll actually show you that if I encounter an enemy here. But as you can see on the right there, I have it in my inventory. So here's an enemy here. Let me try and freeze him. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. There are a couple different buttons. The freeze is, I believe, the Y button, and the cloak is the X button. Sometimes I get those confused. I ended up running into the enemy before I hit the button, so that didn't quite work out. Now, even if you freeze the enemies, they can still steal the matter canister from you if you run into them, so you want to avoid doing that. And like I said, there is a cloak power-up as well, which will basically make you invincible. The enemies can't steal the matter canister from you, and you also can't take damage when you run into obstacles. Ah. I'm actually doing quite well here. I still have over 2,000 energy, which I think you actually start with 2,000, so I may have more than I did at the beginning, which is definitely a good thing. This is a wormhole here. If you actually encounter a wormhole, it will actually prevent you from taking off right away. It's kind of sort of a sticky thing. You run into it and you'll get stuck to it, and it will slowly eject you from the wormhole. You actually do not want to accelerate when you are stuck on a wormhole, because your energy will increase or decrease even faster than if you just let it eject you from the wormhole. So far I've prevented them from building their... Oh, jeez. I've prevented them from building their mothership, which is good. Ooh, bunch of energy pods. That'll come in handy. I think this is probably the best game I've played so far. Up to wave 16, and I have tons of energy. Now, of course, the energy pods are randomly placed on the map, so you might get lucky like I did and just get a whole bunch of energy pods in one place, so you can collect them all and boost up your energy quite a bit. I don't believe there is a limit to the amount of energy that you can store, but I could be wrong about that. I've never actually been this high in energy before, so. I do like the background music in this game. It's quite nice. Nice relaxing music. Now, if I haven't mentioned it before, this game is in beta. It has not been released yet. I've been lucky enough to be able to beta test it. So things may change in the final release, which should be probably in January, I would assume. He said 2017, so and the game is almost complete. Just some tweaks that need to be made, but nothing major. Most of the game is here. Oh man. Oh, I think they got the mothership now. Oh, it says 0 to go. Maybe they have to collect one more, maybe? Possibly. Oh! Oh boy. Where's the mothership? Oh, there it is! Speaking of mothership, let's see if I can actually kill him. It takes 3 concussion waves to kill the mothership, but if you manage to do it... Ah, yes! You get a bonus, I believe 10,000 points, so quite a nice little bonus if you can destroy the mothership. The other way to get rid of the mothership is to... Oops, I'm flying the wrong direction here, I'm not paying attention. Yeah, the other way to get rid of the mothership is to grab an energy canister and dispose of it. Or not an energy canister, sorry, a matter canister. And that will get rid of the mothership. Oh jeez, there he is again. So once I dispose of this matter canister, the mothership will disappear. Actually, the mothership can't even keep up with me. Which is unusual, because I thought he was right behind me last time I played. But this is a new version of the game I'm playing here. I was actually just sent this version, so that could be a glitch. Maybe the speed is off, but yeah, like I said, this is a beta, so there will be some tweaks before the final release. Okay, I got a cloak and a freeze. Oops, I'm the wrong way here. Put on my cloak. The cloak lasts, I think, probably about 5 seconds, maybe? Somewhere around there. So it might actually be best to use the cloak as soon as you see an enemy. Use the freeze there. Just freezes all the enemies in one place. Like I said, they can still steal the canister from you at that point. Ah, darn it. But you actually have to ram into them. They can't follow you, so. Alright, so we're on wave 20 now. As you might be able to tell, the obstacles, more obstacles will show up on the map for every wave that you advance. So the game will get more difficult as you progress, which is kind of expected. If it stayed at the same difficulty the whole time, it wouldn't be much of a challenge. But there do seem to be a lot more seekers now as well. So we'll see if I can get a high score here. I keep running into these wormholes. There we go. Now as far as the visuals go, this is definitely not going to push the Dreamcast to its limits, far from it. This is meant to be sort of a retro style game, very much like Primitive Nightmare was, or is. But I'd say this one is probably closer to 8 or a 16-bit game, whereas Primitive Nightmare was more like Atari style graphics, I'd say. But that's fine. I mean, the game isn't meant to be a graphical showpiece for the Dreamcast, but it is a really fun and addicting game, very much like Primitive Nightmare was. Oh boy, there's the mothership. Yeah, the mothership definitely seems a little bit slow. So I might take advantage of the fact that I'm a beta tester here and give him some feedback on that. Seems fairly easy to outrun him. Or it. Whatever you want to call it. There we go. So as you can see, even though I disposed of that matter canister, I didn't advance in waves. I'm still on wave 20. And that is because the mothership was built. So all it did was actually get rid of the mothership at that point, and I still stay on the same can't even speak here, the same wave. So there we go. I advanced to wave 21, which is a record for me. Yay me! But I am just about out of energy here, so I don't think I'm going to make it much farther. 22. Yeah, I'm gonna die in a second here, most likely. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. I like this game. It's simple, but yet it's fun and addicting. You always want to come back and try again and try and get a little bit farther every time. In that sense, it's a very arcade style game, which I like. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for this game. It should be released very soon. And I hope you guys give it a shot, because it's a lot of fun. And if you have never played Primitive Nightmare before, give that a shot as well. If you're into this style of game, this sort of spaceship, not so much a shooter like I said, although Primitive Nightmare is more of a shooter. If you like the space shooter survival genre, definitely give Primitive Nightmare a shot, and give this one a shot when it is released. But anyway, guys, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.